Allahu Akbar.
Darul Iman provides a peaceful space for Muslims in St. Paul.
Allahu Akbar.
Last weekend was anything but.
The community is kind of on edge. They're kind of surprised that something like this would happen. Someone would come in the middle of the night and ravage the mosque and then leave behind this graffiti of hate.
2 witnesses reported confronting a man here early Saturday morning before he said, quote, "good luck," and walked out. They found damage to their office and taunting messages saying Merry Xmas and Save Your Soul.
This is not new.
Jailani Hussein of the Council on American Islamic Relations in Minnesota says 13 major incidents have been reported in the past 6 months, with an additional 75 to 80 cases.
This is unprecedented level. We've never had this amount of increase in such a short time. And so this is extremely concerning.
Last month, surveillance video caught a man smashing the glass door at a northeast Minneapolis mosque. Communities from St. Cloud to Maplewood have experienced the same in recent years, with the most serious a bombing at the Dar al-Farouk Mosque in Bloomington in the summer of 2017.
The reality is it impacts all of us. If it impacts my community, it's impacting your community as well.
Hussein points out that anti-Muslim rhetoric today is similar to anti-Semitic, anti-Catholic, and other religious bigotry throughout America's history.
So one of the things we have to realize is we cannot let history repeat, and we have to recognize that in this country, we have to speak to each other.
And that means hard conversations about incidents like this one in St. Paul.
We need to tell the stories of how America is based on this identity of people coming from all over the world, different religions, and living together. And I think that is the future forward.
St. Paul police investigating this latest case as a bias-motivated crime. They've also increased patrols at mosques all across the city.
Well, when he was very little, he was very rambunctious. He started talking and walking early. Like, he was walking by like 6 months and saying full sentences by a year. He called himself a pacifist. He explained it to me as that he doesn't want to like harm people or things. And so I had to look it up, and then I went back to him. I said, but how does that work, like if they're harming you or if you like feel really strongly about something? After they found out that Jake was Muslim, they call him a terrorist. 9/11 was awful because he'd get called a terrorist, asked if he was whatever group was in the news at that time, whether it was the Taliban or ISIS or whatever. And this kid, while the bus is in motion, comes and starts beating up Jake. At some point, I guess he passed out from what other people have told me, other kids have told me. He had contusions all over his body, like his chest, his face, a couple on his back. He had hair pulled out of his head. I texted him. I tell him that dinner is ready. He didn't answer. When I go out there, I find him hanging. People think that bullying just affects the one being bullied, but it affects everybody.
The Taylors Falls mother is mourning the loss of her teenage son. She says he killed himself after kids bullied him over and over at his school.
The fact that my family has to live the rest of our life without him. And we were such an integral family, like we were so close. It felt really good because the first person that came out was Jelani from CAIR, Minnesota. And it felt good to tell somebody everything that we had went through.
He was physically forced into a locker.
And not have to be afraid of what their reaction was going to be or if they were going to believe us.
We are going to be filing a lawsuit to hold the school district accountable for its actions that directly led to his suicide.
CAIR has done so much to confront the issue of bullying in our schools. Unfortunately, more than 60% of children have reported that they have been bullied in schools, either because of their status as a Muslim or perceived status as a Muslim. And I think those numbers are probably higher than that.
The Muslim holiday of Ramadan starts at the end of this week. And like other spring holidays, this year's celebrations are going to look a little bit different. A mosque in Minneapolis has been given permission to broadcast the call to prayer during the month-long holiday. And Fox 9's Hannah Flood joining us live to talk about why this is so meaningful. Hannah?
Hey, Kelsey. Well, I live across the street from a church, so I'm used to hearing church bells ring every hour on the hour. I think that's a sound that a lot of us are used to, but many of us have never heard the Muslim call to prayer before. But starting at the end of this week, people in the Cedar Riverside neighborhood will be hearing it 5 times a day.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
This is what a traditional Muslim call to prayer sounds like.
Allahu Akbar. So basically it means God is the great, God is the greatest.
5 times a day during the month-long celebration of Ramadan, this call will be broadcast over a loudspeaker from the roof of Dar el-Hijar Mosque in Minneapolis's Muslim-majority Cedar Riverside neighborhood.
So I think it's going to bring a lot of smiles from the youngest in this community to the oldest.
Jailani Hussein, the executive director of the Council on American Islamic Relations Minnesota, says this call will help many in the neighborhood feel together when they can't physically be together.
Particularly our seniors who have been isolated during this pandemic.
And so whether you're Muslim or Jewish or Christian or you name it, we want you to be able to practice your traditions and your religion from a remote location.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey announced on Tuesday the city gave a noise permit to the mosque, allowing them to broadcast that call to prayer.
Every religion has traditions that play themselves out in noise in some form, and this is just yet another one.
Traditions that unite people in faith while they pray apart.
People are going to open their windows, anticipate the call, and really feel that tranquility and the connection.
That's it.
So Ramadan starts at the end of this week. It goes for about a month, and after that, those calls will stop. The first call, early in the morning. It goes out before sunrise, and the last call happens after sunset. Randy, back to you.
All right.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. This is Jailani Hussein. I hope you're doing well. Coronavirus is impacting all of us. And I want to remind you a few things that you should take into consideration. Number one, stay home, as it's expected for us to stay home by the governor. Second, when you're outside, stay 6 feet away from other individuals. Make sure you're wearing a mask and gloves. And when you come home, make sure you're washing your hands. And with that, it will help us slow the spread. Thank you very much. And as Ramadan is upon us, Ramadan Mubarak. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
New here at 10, we are just 2 hours now away from an expanded U.S. travel ban going into effect.
And the president announced last month that immigration restrictions will be imposed on 6 more countries. Fox 9's Sarah Danek is live at the airport right now. And Sarah, critics do have a lot to say on this.
Yeah, they do. There's really people on both sides. But we talked tonight to people that actually would have family members impacted. It's added a lot of stress to some of the communities. That travel ban adds 6 countries to the 7 that are already on the list. And it's causing those from the 6 countries who are trying to get visas, trying to immigrate here to the U.S. to rethink everything.
We came through the diversity program, what's called the lottery program.
Khalid Yusuf came to the U.S. 20 years ago from Sudan.
There was lack of opportunities for people like me.
His family searching for a better life.
My parents immigrated or brought us here for better opportunities, seeking the American dream.
Khalid is now an engineer, married with a brand new baby. But his thoughts are with family in Sudan. At least one member whose plans to come and live in the U.S. on a diversity visa are now on hold.
His papers have been in the embassy for at least a year, and we're just waiting for the final step, which is the interview in the embassy. And that's all his dreams are getting shattered.
The president's expanded travel ban includes diversity or lottery visas from Sudan and Tanzania, and immigrant visas from Kyrgyzstan, Myanmar, Nigeria, and Eritrea, and has raised concerns that the president is targeting Muslim-majority countries.
We just expanded the fear. We've expanded really going against what America has been, a place that has been a beacon of hope and a place where we welcome people.
Jailani Hussein's CAIR Minnesota office has been working to help families worried about the ban, following the first travel ban put in place 3 years ago.
We have people who are missing their spouses. We have fathers who are missing their children.
The Department of Homeland Security has said the expanded ban is not meant to target certain regions or religions, but that the countries on the list failed to meet security criteria and could be a risk to the U.S. College just doesn't see it that way.
Most of these people are just honest people that are coming here for good reasons.
Now, there is currently legislation in the U.S. House that would essentially ban the travel ban. It is expected to move to the full House floor, but is not expected to make it out of the Senate. We are live tonight at MSP. Sarah Danek, Fox 9.
Our Joe Augustine tells us why civil rights attorneys are receiving more phone calls from people who want to know exactly what their rights are.
In a place where most come to study, this group of attorneys came to teach.
What do you do if a law enforcement officer comes up to you? Do you have the right? Do you have to talk to them? Do you not have to talk to them?
Ellen Longfellow is an attorney with the Council on Islamic American Relations. She hosted a free legal clinic Saturday morning for anyone with questions about their civil rights.
A lot of people don't know that they have the right to ask for an attorney.
Longfellow says more people from the Muslim community have called for legal advice as U.S. Attorney Andy Lugar has launched more investigations of terror suspects.
We've been getting quite a few calls of people who have been approached by the FBI, who have never been approached by the FBI before.
Now, Longfellow says many of the people they work with are simply intimidated by law enforcement. Some feel they have no choice but to talk to the authorities, and this can be because of a language barrier or, as she said, sometimes just simply not understanding your basic rights.
What does she think about the U.S. Attorney's program we were talking about before your story?
The pilot program, yeah. You know, CAIR Minnesota has been one of the programs that has been critical of the program. They feel it's too easy for the lines between investigations and community outreach to be blurred, that line to be blurred between those two. So they've been critical of it. As you heard, though, earlier today, Andrew Lugar tried to address that when he was speaking to the people at the mosque earlier today.
An ongoing conversation starting right here in Minnesota.
For sure.
All right, Joe, thanks.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. I want to wish you and your family a beautiful and blessed Ramadan. And as you enter this holy month, I hope that you are showing up for each other, showing up for your community and your neighborhood. And as we celebrate, I know there is one organization that always has our back, that is a shield for our community, and that's CAIR. So making sure that we uplift the work that they do, making sure that we are seen and heard in the halls of Congress. So Ramadan Mubarak, and please be safe. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Sister Linda Sarsour here, Executive Director of Empower Change and one of the co-founders of the Women's March. I led the largest single-day protest in U.S. history. As someone who every single day is at the forefront, fighting for the rights of our community, ensuring that we are treated with dignity and respect and that we have a seat at the table, I have received the wrath of Islamophobes, right-wing Zionists, white nationalists, and every time I thought I could not move forward, that I could not take it any longer, I would turn around and find the Council on American Islamic Relations, CAIR, right behind me. They always had my back, never failed. Every time they came out in my defense like they continue to defend the rights of all those in our communities. Sisters and brothers, we did not see this pandemic coming. CAIR did not see this pandemic coming. We have to ensure that our organizations, the bravest, the boldest, those who continue to do the work, even when it's hard, have the support and resources to keep building on their vision and continuing the work for many, many years to come. We cannot allow our organizations to fail right now. CAIR is counting on you. They have continued to put out information on COVID-19 resources, on stimulus payments. They have shared information on advocacy for rent moratoriums and voting by mail. They continue to take on cases from our community. Their staff across the country are working around the clock. I know that they continue to do the work, and I know that you know that too. So please, sisters and brothers, please, please, please support the work of CAIR. Give them your sadaqah. Give them your donation. Give them whatever you can, whatever you are blessed with. Share it with the people at CAIR. Sisters and brothers, let's not forget this is also an election year. and we have to win in 2020. And we need our largest Muslim American civil rights organization to ensure that our voting rights are protected, that imams and masajid and communities across the country have the information that they need. So please, sisters and brothers, let's step up for CAIR the same way that CAIR has always stepped up for us.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my friends. This is Attorney General Keith Ellison, and I want to wish you a very blessed Ramadan. Even though the whole world is facing this scourge of COVID-19, we still have so much to be grateful for, so much to be thankful for. And so this Ramadan is going to be a very special one, and it's going to be one that we will always remember. You know, CAIR is standing right there to help people right now. CAIR is an organization that for many years now has stood up for the civil rights of Muslims and has enhanced the law and society and fairness throughout our entire United States of America. CAIR right now is stepping into the breach, stepping up to the plate, making sure that people's needs are met. And there are some serious needs out there. We have seen upticks in Islamophobia and anti-Muslim hate. Asian Americans have been the focal point of hatred as the president talks about a Chinese virus. CAIR is, as usual, right there fighting for the civil rights of people, right there making sure that people are not alone when they're facing their toughest circumstances. But not only that, CAIR is standing up on immigration. As Trump is saying he's going to stop immigration, CAIR is raising the critical issue of saying that immigration is part of what America is. And to stop it now, no matter who, no matter what, is wrong. And CAIR is speaking to those critical issues as well. CAIR also is helping meet the material needs of people. As people are facing unemployment, people are facing eviction, people are facing all kinds of economic challenges, CAIR is ready and able and doing everything it can to help. So what I would say to you is when you're in a crisis, you need a life jacket. CAIR has been that and will continue to be that, inshallah. So please think about CAIR, continue to support CAIR because CAIR supports us. Thank you very much.
Ramadan Mubarak, Salam Alaikum, peace be upon you. I'm sending my warmest greetings to our whole CAIR family around this country. In this time of crisis, as we deal with the public health pandemic and the economic crisis that most of our communities are feeling, there's a lot of hurt and there's a lot of pain. Many of the organizations that fight so dearly for us every single day to make sure our civil liberties are protected, to make sure those of us who are stranded abroad get the urgent support that they need, and many of the Muslim community that is challenged every single day in this country, CAIR is there. CAIR is who we rely on. CAIR is who cares for us. And I am hoping that all of you will remember that with an organization like CAIR, we are powerful and we are protected. So please do everything that you can to help sustain CAIR chapters across this country. Because more than anything, this time, we're gonna need to stick together and we're gonna need to make sure those amongst us who are more vulnerable need the protection that we can give them. And CAIR will make sure that that protection is provided to them. I know I am home with my family preparing for Ramadan. We are staying safe and protecting one another. And I know that you're doing that with your family and with your community. And I know the CAIR family is not only caring for their own families, but they're caring for all of our families. And so as we work in Congress to try to make sure there is relief and the lives and livelihoods of all Americans are protected, I know I'm going to be cheering CAIR on as they protect lives and livelihoods for all Muslims and everyone in need. So I say thank you, wa alaikum salam, and I look forward to soon seeing you across the country in gatherings, at halls, or in your homes. Thank you and have a great day.